Good evening. It's Friday, July 15th, 2022. Welcome back to BoomerRexTonight, your nearly daily source for news and politics. I'm RisenLadyHeathen. Hey, asshole. What's Never Is Our Show from other Millennial news podcasts.
My ear hurts.
And we're going to get coffee.
Coffee.
We have a boomer and a Gen Zer, and not just any boomer and Gen Zer. We have Mr. BoomerRex himself.
Yeah, good evening.
And my spawn, Sleet.
Good evening, everyone.
You two eat, sleep, and breathe politics, and Sleet and I are still learning. That's 4 unique perspectives we share along with the facts from our literal round table. I'm sorry, I'm going to be a little low energy today, guys. I'm just,
Well, but we got you back.
Yeah.
And that's good.
Yeah.
We appreciate that.
All right, so let's dig right into our headlines. Where do you carry your eggs?
Turns out that insects that lived 160 million years ago wore clusters of eggs dangling off their legs, like grapes hanging from vines. They discovered evidence of this parental behavior in remarkably well-preserved fossils that are currently the earliest example of brood care in which a parent looks after their eggs and or offspring. So anyway, 163 million years ago.
Cool.
In excavating the fossils, they found 30 adult female specimens with a cluster of eggs anchored to their left mesotibia, which is the middle leg of the trio on the left side, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
And oddly specific.
So, handedness appears to have developed. So, anyway, it's kind of fun, and I thought, so these were the earliest parents.
Hell yeah.
Lugging around their babies.
Huh.
So, cool.
The more you know.
Yeah.
Bugs did it first.
All right, there should be consequences.
All right, here we go. A Georgia prosecutor has sent target letters to prominent Republicans in the state to warn that they could be indicted for their roles in a scheme to send phony electors to Congress to declare the election for Donald Trump, who could also be called upon to provide testimony. Sources told Yahoo News that Fulton County District Attorney Fannie Willis sent the letters to State Senator Burt Jones, who is Governor Brian Kemp's running mate for lieutenant governor, David Schaefer, currently the chairman of the Georgia Republican Party, and State Senator Brandon Beach. Anyway, this could get exciting. But being told you're a target of the investigation, that's a fairly big step. So anyway, Jones and Schaefer took part in a December 14th, 2020 meeting led by Schaefer at the state capitol, where 16 Georgia Republicans selected themselves without any legal basis as their state's electors, and they signed their names to a declaration that was sent to the National Archives. So, clear-cut case of fraud. Let's stomp them for it.
Yep.
Jesus Christ, people. That's stupid.
Law and order
Well, they
party.
did it in a number of states.
That's
There
even
were
stupider.
false slates of electors from a number of states,
Yeah.
That's even stupider.
including Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway, we'll see.
All right. Keep hitting them.
So, controversial Indiana Attorney General Todd Rokita was hit with a cease and desist letter by attorneys representing a doctor who performed an abortion on a 10-year-old girl who was forced to travel from Ohio. So he was the one who was saying, we have this abortion activist, acting as a doctor. No, she is a doctor. Yeah. She has a history of failure to report, no evidence whatsoever that is a true statement. And we're going to end up looking at everything, including her licensure. So we now know that those were all false statements.
Made against a private citizen.
Made against a private citizen, and not in his role as a state official. He has no protections.
Nope.
So, even after the release of the TPR through open court request confirming that Dr. Bernard fully complied with all the applicable reporting laws, his subsequent statements to local and national news sources further cast Dr. Bernard in a false light and misled consumers and patients. We're especially concerned that given the controversial political context, it may also place her life in danger. So, anyway.
Yeah.
So he's now been hammered down. I hope she's planning on filing an enormous lawsuit.
You'd hope.
Right? Because there was no reason at all for him to have said any of this
No.
in his official position, and the statements were false.
Yeah.
That's all
And it
defamatory.
appears that he knew that.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
No, sue the state for all the cookies. Fuck them.
No, sue them both.
Yeah. Like, the state's got a lot more cookies.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But if the state has any sense at all, then run away and let him take the fall.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and it'll settle, which will let you hire more lawyers for the other lawsuit.
yeah, true. Absolutely. Oh.
All right. Boomer Rex is about damn time. Tell me the good news.
So, they've had this fraud going on in Wisconsin. The Assembly Speaker Robin Voss hired former state Supreme Court Justice Michael Gableman. We've now learned a lot about Gableman. He was the perfect kind of fucktard to hire. To lead a one-party review of the 2020 elections, and they've spent about $1.5 million on it, and they've got nothing. And there have been a number of public records requests with nothing relevant produced. And so, anyway, the Dane County Circuit Judge Valerie Bailey Wynn issued her decision on Friday, saying he would produce the documents, and he has 20 days to do so. So after that, she can start talking about putting him in jail for contempt of court.
Yep.
So anyway, it's about damn time they started working on this. You got all these crazies wandering around spouting pig shit.
Well, and the courts look like they might be waking up to how much danger they're in, because they have a real chance right now to say there is no law for white people, and that's the end of fucking courts that day right there.
Yep. And you aren't going to like where that goes.
Yeah.
So I will repeat, when there's no justice in the courts, justice will be
Gonna-
found in the
yep.
streets. So
This is a huge
we've
mistake.
known that for years.
So tell me, who's our dumbass of the day?
So State Representative Brad Sheeta, he's a Republican from Missoula, Montana, sent out a controversial email offering his opinion that a woman's womb serves no purpose in her life and well-being. Say what? Anyway.
What point? Hold on. What point was he trying to make in saying this?
Just try to.
He was just running his mouth. You have to understand, these people don't have a point. There is
Yeah.
no mental process. There's no rationality.
Attack
They're
the
just
concept of women
babbling.
having value in society. It was a chance to run out and say something rude about wombs, I guess.
But
I tried to assemble some sort of weird joke about trying to drive down the price on eBay or something, but yeah. It was just to talk and have words, and they were going to be rude and at wombs today. It's like if you could give refrigerator poetry fucking Tourette's.
Yeah. So
Nothing
anyway,
against my Tourette's
just-
brothers and sisters out
it's
there.
further evidence that you have this collection of
your heart has nothing to do with your health and
Nitwits.
well-being.
who were just out there running their little mouths to hear their gums flap.
Yeah.
So anyway,
No, exactly. And it begs the fucking follow-up question, which is kind of what annoys me about the ones who are good at this, and I have to watch. If he can do it twice more, then he might be good at it. Okay, so what is the value of a womb or something? He has said something so insane, the only way I can respond is to ask more questions for clarification, like the fucking problem's on my end. But,
yeah.
well played, nitwit. Now get fucking
You
struck
just
by
look away
lightning.
and say this is.
Oh, yeah,
noise.
no, exactly.
Okay, so that's just dumb. Anyway. Just fuck him.
So anyway, this week the Nation, and I've stolen this. I'm sorry. I should have written down the author's name. The Nation bore witness to an especially shameful episode for the Republicans, even by the right's rock bottom standards. Right-wing media came together to respond to the story of a 10-year-old rape victim by denying her existence and calling those who provided medical care liars. What was surprising about the whole thing was not that conservative media was reckless, hateful, and mendacious. That's a permanent state of play for Republican propagandists. No, It was that the face of these attacks on the child rape victim and her doctor was not the usual doe-eyed Bible huggers pretending they want to force fourth graders to give birth, oh Jesus, and the babies. It was a noxious frat daddy, Jesse Waters, former Bill O'Reilly underling, who was now forever vying for Tucker Carlson's throne as the Fox News host, with the most like the rich boy villain in the 80s movie.
Yeah.
Sadly, there was a choir of jackasses. I love that image.
That
A
is-
choir of jackasses. Absolutely perfect. Making false, unevidenced accusations against the doctor who terminated the child's pregnancy. But it was Waters and his smirking visage that was the real star of the show.
Yeah.
So, anyway, Fox News hosted Ohio's Republican Attorney General who he lied and said that there was no case and so forth and so on. All things he could have identified. Yeah, there was a case. Yes, the proper paperwork was filed, etc., 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 etc. And let us not forget the role of good old Gymnasium Jordan. So, anyway.
He's only angry because he wanted to hear about this a couple days beforehand, so he could just sit on it and not tell anybody. Because that's
that's his
reportedly
style.
his jam.
Yeah. So, anyway.
Damn these people.
As I said, just
you
fuck
need to do
'em.
your piece on these people.
Hope you get
right?
ingested
The whole
by a
denying it
fucking-
ever happened. All crisis actors, yeah. They had a 10-year-old girl acting.
No,
No,
you'll
no,
never
no.
get the word crisis.
The crisis actors are on Fox News.
You'll
Exactly.
never get the word crisis actor out of any indoor Republican. You can't do it. That's radio news fodder, so that they can report on each other's coverage of the thing and the rumors they're hearing. And first, it's got to burble up through the blogosphere, so then it can be covered as.
Yeah.
And then you can get to Jim Jordan and the like, where they just need to come out and say something. Again, the earlier nitwit with the problem with the wombs. Part of my problem, part of what was so hard when Trump was president, was I would listen to the speech, and when I listen to speeches, I hear the words, and I assemble
Yeah.
a thing based on the words that are said.
Yeah.
It's why I don't enjoy churches much, is sermons don't work like that.
Right.
Sermons are speaking a feeling. That's what the shithead with the wombs thing was on about.
Yeah.
He was trying to just speak a feeling of rudeness towards wombs in general, and, well, women in general, and wombs specifically today,
Yeah.
because,
Just that's who he is.
yeah, he found one in his yard. I don't, like,
Scum of the earth.
I don't understand.
All right. Nominating the crazy.
So, Republican hopes of winning control of the U.S. Senate in the 2022 midterms may be dashed by the nomination of extremist candidates. They now have several certifiably crazy candidates in swing states where this is going to be a fight. So, anyway, hopeful news for the Democrats. It's got the it has the indoor Republicans scared shitless. By the way, there are like 3 of those left.
I know.
Right. The Republican Party has ended.
Well, they left until they get primaried.
Yeah.
So, no, and I apologize for having put Jim Jordan in that category. I don't, like, he at least knew the rules. He's one of those weird transitions at the end that when they rolled over from making Federalist type, right, Ted Cruz, soulless things,
Yeah.
to whatever this new WrestleMania crazy shit is.
Mm-hmm.
And I do certainly hope that they have gone too far and they have, right, this is too crazy.
Yes.
America's going to look at this and go,
No, this is nuts.
I will point out,
I hope that's true.
America did also say, no more booze, America.
Yep. At one point.
Yeah, so
Oh.
And then
they,
they're
America's
back-
full of crazy and batshit.
Yep.
I think there's something in the water.
So they also voted for Newt Gingrich contract on America.
Yeah.
So anyway.
And fell for the moving of the cameras so the speeches looked
Oh,
great, and the Democrats should move them back and take that page. Like, play fucking politics. Yes, it's gross, and I understand you all want to play the I've risen above the fray and the whatever, but turns out no one has, and I need you to at least throw some elbows.
Yeah. Soon.
Yeah.
Quickly.
So on national TV.
Or don't, but your corner's about to get really empty right at the end.
Yeah.
All right. Tell me about this glass half full. What's going on here?
So President Joe Biden on Friday endorsed a deal, all but demanded by Senator Joe Manchin, to tackle prescription drug reform and health care subsidies and leave climate change to a later uncertain date. Good side of this is the Democrats will have something they can point to and say, we put this through and it will help your family, and here's how. The bad side of this, they have yet again caved to Joe Manchin. We need some more fucking Democratic senators so that we can tell Manchin to take his Republican light agenda, shove it up his ass, and kick him out of the fucking conference.
Yep.
So, anyway.
And I'd prefer to do that via primary and winning, but
Yeah.
You might end up having to do that the violent way at some point.
Yeah, no.
Well, no, in this case, the violent way would be to force him to become a Republican, to kick him out of the Democratic caucus.
Exactly.
I would do that after he doesn't have a seat. Or
Well,
at least
that would
after we take a
certainly be-
hell of a run at that being true.
Yeah. Well, first we have to primary him.
Yeah, but I wish the party would talk about the things that we know would get us a national supermajority and be honest about the fact that, yes, that's the goal.
Yeah.
Yes, we're going to get a supermajority again and actually do something with it this time and not be all as scared like we were last time.
Right.
Because now we know what happens when we don't do anything.
And we won't have a weak president saying, oh, we need to be bipartisan.
We can understand the millions of bad reasons we've been talking to all the bad things. That
Put together a good bill. Go
Yep. Everything the Democrats have done has made sense in that moment right then. And the problem is, look the fuck around, it's on fire.
Yeah.
So being the most sense-making team doesn't appear to also be the recipe for winning, unless you're going to do it.
Well, especially not when the other team is literally that
The
shit
one setting
crazy.
the fires.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
All right. Why Democrats are losing?
So, the Democratic Party's 2020 platform, Building a Stronger, Fairer Economy, was the second item listed in the platform, right? After strategies to deal with COVID-19, which seems kind of out of date.
Woohoo, we're done. And we got the
Sounded a
things.
populist note that American economy is tilted toward corporations and the wealthy, and that it's harder than ever for Americans to move up the economic ladder. Americans
That's
deserve an
feature in
economy
our
that
book.
works for everyone, not just for the wealthy and well-connected. Yeah.
Says the wealthy and well-connected.
Yeah. By contrast, the Republicans laid out a platform that centers on nationalistic policies and cultural issues, not necessarily economic ones. For instance, they devoted an entire category to anti-wokeness. Nothing better encapsulates the Democrats' elitism and classism than their turn toward wokeness. So again, part of the problem is that the Republicans are appealing to the racists and the bigots, which is
Simple
not a
message.
majority in America, but it's too damn close.
It's bigger than the margin.
Yeah, well, it's much bigger than the margin. So anyway, Democrats, you're going to have something to show for this, and putting in your platform won't do. So yeah, let's go get our glass half full. Let's go get our glass half full action on drug prices and healthcare and so forth.
Yeah. Avoid getting
And-
stabbed in the neck in October for the increase in premiums. Good job.
Yep.
You get patted on your odd-shaped head.
Yep. So anyway, it just
There's nothing wrong with that
Is the
shit.
thing we can do.
Nope. Well, I mean, I can't. I don't know
well,
the rest
and
of you.
the Republicans' whole approach to Main Street versus Wall Street is to rail against COVID-19 restrictions. Right. They're more than willing to sacrifice older Americans, right? To
They're more than willing to sacrifice Americans in general. They don't give a fuck who or what you are, as long as you're not them.
peace.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
It doesn't affect me. Why should I care? But everyone else but me.
Yep.
Like,
Well, and
God damn it.
Democrats need to acknowledge that the media is not on their side, corporate America is not on their side,
Yeah.
and start actually playing that way.
And fighting.
Yeah, I talk about a minimum wage, talk about all the other stuff.
Yeah.
And people go, well, the businesses, if your business fails, it sucks. That's capitalism.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's all shuckadoodles. I don't know what he knocked over.
And it's the same as the business people yelling about fiat currency. Like, you don't give a shit about what the medium of exchange is, you dumb motherfucker.
Yeah.
Right. Anyway,
as they have proved repeatedly.
Well, and you could be more annoyed, except big money captured the big business schools in 2000.
Yeah.
So they teach supply side garbage. So I'm not surprised that people who didn't go to the special school that apparently now teaches you shit that is wrong also have it wrong.
Yep.
So
Anything to deny competition from existing.
Well, and that's one of the problems with what we currently call capitalism in the U.S., and we'll get into it in a
Longer
massive show later.
It's a lot less.
Is there is no competition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Ever since they've been able to buy congressmen, which they actively do, they have installed barriers to competition. Right?
Yep.
And if they couldn't beat one of their competitors, they acquired them, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
well, and it is the problem with Elizabeth Warren's what sounds like an overly simplified answer, and is because she was campaigning about that we had to break up these monopolies. First, we have to pass legislation
And it lets us do that.
because they are absolutely written to accordance with the current,
Yeah.
right, within standard deviance.
Yeah.
All right, look at however much the FCC usually moves the yard post in favor of ownership, that you can now own whatever amount they already own. It's about like that.
Yeah.
Well, and antitrust has always been slightly fading more and more.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Turn
No,
by
because trust is how you make big piles of money for the oligarchs, who in turn pay their
And regulations only work as long
representative.
as
I
you
was
keep an
gonna
eye
say
on it.
elected representative, but that's not who they are.
Um,
They're purchased
I'm
representatives.
willing to bet that you can see the responses to the crash of the Great Depression coming loose 20 years after the fact,
Yeah.
right? Because that's about the life cycle of these
Any
regulations,
regulation. That's how long it takes them to get around it.
And
by
corporate
the
America has
appropriate
moved the
politicians.
right?
Yeah.
Exxon made money on the Valdez spill
Yeah.
because they took the money awarded when it was awarded,
Yeah.
put it in a bank account, and just accrued interest.
Yeah.
That's fucking insane.
Uh-huh.
Like, and it leads to the problem for Democrats is if things don't get better, we lose people.
Yeah.
And so, like the other side,
Especially
Especially
the
having
country.
claimed we were going to try to make
Yeah.
them better. Whereas
Well,
what the
country.
Republicans are doing is claiming they're going to make it whiter
yeah,
and less woke and dumber and all the things that Republicans treasure so much.
yeah. Well, and they get to bang on us for free on that because there is a portion of America that's trying to sort out some complex things. But if you're not genuinely interested in that,
Yeah.
it seems a lot like the French thing that comes up with the French words for things.
Yes.
And it's easy to make, right? No one wants to be on that team.
Yep.
So it's annoying that the Republicans are better at politicking, but of course they are. They're church people, and
Well,
church is nothing but politics.
They have a simpler job.
Yeah.
Which is they have to appeal to racism and bigotry, and
Yes.
that's always been easy to do.
And they practice social violence once a day, or 1 week, 1 day a week, every week,
Yep.
assuming they go to church.
Yeah.
Which is by and large what that is. When I've watched, the handful of occasions when I've been taken to church and everyone's milling around and interacting after that and gossiping, that's fucking social violence.
Yeah.
Hey, not inherently bad, maybe, if it's used well, but hey, it explains why they're better at coming up with wedge issues and all the other things and going for the lowest common
Yep.
denominator.
All right.
Because they've been
The
playing
lower the
power
better.
for a while.
Yep.
Updates with BoomerRex health threats.
So, BA5 is now the dominant COVID strain in the U.S. It has a number of changes, which means it's likely to escape the vaccine. But what we have seen is that the vaccine can minimize the amount of damage that the virus causes. And Dr. Cohen added that those who are experiencing severe infections are the unvaccinated. So go
Get
your
fucking vaccinated.
damn
It's
booster.
free.
Yep.
All right. Climate weirding.
So 2 years ago, forecasters in the UK conducted an interesting thought experiment. And they said, what would our forecasts look like in 2050 based on what we think is happening with climate change and so
Excellent.
forth? Okay. So anyway,
Tomorrow it might be hot.
yeah. So anyway, they came up with a forecast, and it had the temperatures for the British Isles and so on. Yeah. It is exactly what tomorrow's forecast for the UK looks like. It came 28 years early. So this is the 2050 forecast, and they have it for tomorrow. And there are virtually no differences between the fake, 2050 forecast and what's happening tomorrow. Yeehaw! Just keep fucking with it. See
Let's
where
see
it
how
gets
far
you.
the climate's
No,
bend.
remember, rainbows are proof that God said it wouldn't kill everyone.
It's what?
Rainbows are proof that God said it wouldn't kill everyone.
Right.
This is why I like my God better, who giggles. And
Yeah.
when I wish people die, sometimes they do.
So, yeah, that's that. Anybody got anything else they want to discuss before we...
We're promising we're going to do an in-depth show on what was it that wrecked America, starting in 1960 and coming forward. We've already talked about the tax structure.
Man, that boomer
and-
apology letter like hit you right in the feels, huh?
Yeah, it did.
Okay.
Yep.
Nah,
And a lot of it, I don't think we as boomers could see. I
No.
don't think we understood.
Nobody was prepared.
But it's
for
a
it.
wonderful list of what the fuck went wrong.
yes.
So,
No, that's what I liked about it.
yeah.
Because no one ever
So
sees
we will
the
do an in-depth show sometime next week.
bigger picture. You can't.
Yeah.
Especially not when it's actively happening.
Yeah. Well, and you're busy working.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You're doing your part. You assume everyone else is. And yes, for the most part, most
Except-
Americans were. Leadership,
Yes.
on the other hand.
Was busy giving it all to the oligarchs, which is where we are today.
All
Well,
right.
that's who would hold on to it and give it back when they got out and
If
became
you're not going to
lobbyists.
tax the oligarchs, we're going to fail as a state.
Yep.
I guarantee
And
it.
that's always been what happens.
We've
Yeah.
already
Look at
failed
look at the
to-
places where the rich go to hang out and luxuriate.
Yeah.
They are one minuscule problem away from turning into an apocalypse.
Yeah.
Right? They are not places you would go for the most. You would not take a family vacation there, and that's because they're willing to travel with security that would make you uncomfortable.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
So yeah, I
Everything
think
else
we're done.
just swears and telling them why they should give us $1.
Yeah,
Fair.
absolutely. Give
Drones.
us $1.
Yeah, give us an all.
The drones will fly from our area.
I need a sound weapon. Come on now.
Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, heart, follow, review,
Smash that like button.
on YouTube. Go to BoomerRexTonight, no spaces, on Facebook for fun memes and a link to our Patreon. Give us $1. You can find us on YouTube as BoomerRex, or check your favorite podcasting service for BoomerRexTonight. We can be found on over a dozen different platforms, including Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and Samsung Podcasts. Hit us up on Twitter at BoomerRexTonight. And if you Google BoomerRexTonight, no spaces, all links will lead you to us. We love y'all. Have a wonderful weekend. We'll see you back here on Monday for Just the News.
All
with
righty.
Please don't do
Boomer
anything
Rex
stupid over the weekend.
Tonight.
Good night.